All right, welcome to day 3 of the 7-day fast start. And in this lesson, we'll be building a list of target clients, specifically a list of hiring managers to reach out to at the companies we want to work with. So in this video, we'll talk about the type of companies that we want to target. What are the specific job titles of the hiring managers that we want to reach out to? All right, where do we find them? And once we do find them, how do we organize a list, reach out to them, track all of our reach outs? So we'll cover all of that today. So let's first talk about hiring authority. It's really important to understand who has the authority to actually onboard you, to give the okay and green light to sign your service agreement, or you sign their service agreement and basically onboard you as a recruiting partner for them. Some people have the authority, other people don't, and we want to make sure we're really clear on that distinction. So from my experience, the people that have the hiring authority, the good hiring managers we want to reach out to, have job titles that are either a director level, a VP level, or someone who has a really high level in HR, like head of talent acquisition, HR director, which would also be a director title. So director, VP, and the top person in HR, which is why for every company that you want to target as a potential client, right? The company is the client, the individual at those companies are what we call hiring managers. In the perfect world, we want to reach out to at least 3 people at each company: the director, the VP, and the top HR person. So if they have an HR manager, but they also have a director of HR, obviously reach out to the director of HR. If they have a director of HR, but they also have a VP of HR, reach out to the VP. So this way, we do not put all of our eggs in one basket of one person. In other words, if I find a company that's medium sized, they're growing, they seem right in my niche, I want to reach out to them. Imagine if I reach out to just to one person, like the VP. And I'm hoping and praying that that person happens to read my message, be interested and get back to me. Now, of course, some people might be asking, well, gosh, won't they be kind of annoyed if I reach out to multiple people at the same company? And the answer is no. I've never had that situation happen because rarely do they communicate to each other. Only one time, I think in my entire career, did a VP level hiring manager say, oh yeah, my colleague, the director, mentioned you also reached out to them as well. And I just simply said, yeah, I wasn't sure who was the right hiring manager for this specific position. So I just kind of reached out to a couple of people on your company because I do think my candidates would be a good fit. Right. So they're like, oh, okay. They don't care. It's better to kind of cast a little bit of a wide net and reach out to a few people. So that way your odds of at least one of them getting back to you are pretty good. So that's who we want to target. Now, to be clear, let's talk about also people who don't have the hiring authority. And it could be a little tricky, so I want to kind of go into detail here. So the not so good hiring managers that we want to avoid reaching out to are people with a manager title, right? It's kind of confusing because you think a manager is in charge. And yes, the manager or supervisor is not a great one. A supervisor or manager might be the person who the role reports to, but they ultimately never have the authority to sign on a recruiting agency. They always have to go talk to the director, talk to the VP, which is why we go to the top. Right? We're doing the top-down approach, reaching out directly to the top person. So not so good people are HR generalists, managers, supervisors, or other recruiters. Because if you think about it, it's not their job to onboard and find recruiting agencies. It's not their job to look for outside recruiting resources. However, for the director, VP level people, it is their job. Their job is to ultimately grow their team by any means necessary. And tapping the help of third-party recruiters is part of many company strategies that they're happy to employ and deploy. Now, an HR associate, a recruiter at a company, a supervisor, their job is to kind of they're more like individual contributors with some light management, or they're overseeing a team, but they're not at the high enough level where they can bring on and tell HR, hey, I want to work with this agency, make it happen. All right, so now that you're clear on who a good hiring manager is and who isn't so good, let's talk about where do we find them. And so to answer that question, let me share my screen and switch to a screen share so I can run you through a live search on LinkedIn to find the right hiring managers. All right, let's run that search for the hiring managers that we've been talking about. Here, I'm on my LinkedIn profile. I'll be looking down a little bit here on my laptop monitor and walking you through this exact type of search that I run when I target potential recruiting clients. So here, obviously, I'm on my LinkedIn profile. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll notice it says Sales Nav. That's a tool and a license I highly recommend that you set up at least a free trial on to run the search. And the reason why is you can't really do much with a free LinkedIn profile. That's how LinkedIn makes their money. And you want to have the advanced filtering for both accounts, which are companies, and elite filters for people. And with a free basic account, you really don't get any of these features. If you don't already have a Sales Navigator account, it's really simple. Click on this little business icon, scroll down to Sell with LinkedIn. Click on Sell with LinkedIn, and then there they'll have different options. You can click on different plans, check out the pricing. You want to click on the one that says Core. So click on View Core Pricing. And there you'll see that they talk about Sales Navigator Core. So that's the one that you want. It runs $120 a month and you get a 30-day free trial. So if you don't have an account, just sign up for the free trial so you can follow along with me and run the search. You also need Sales Navigator to run automations because automations will send high volume of connection requests every single day for you. And with a free account, you're really limited in the number of volume of requests you can send. So you'll want Sales Navigator for both the filtering capabilities as well as the volume that you need to run automation. You really can't run automation with a free basic account. All right, so let's go back to my profile here. So from here, you can follow along from your profile homepage. Click on Sales Navigator, and that'll bring you to their Sales Navigator specific homepage. You can see the menu options look a bit different, and they'll have these two filters. Again, accounts are companies. So here you can filter by what type of companies you want to initially target. And then from there, you can go on lead filters and look at the people at those companies. So we'll click on account filters. And now you'll have a whole bunch of different options. So let's run this together. I'll go kind of slow so you can follow along with me. First thing I click on is company, let's say a head count, right? How big of a company do we want to target? In the previous videos, I talk about how a good sweet spot is somewhere in the 50 to 200 or 200 to 500. I probably start there, which would be classified as like a small to medium-sized business. Because again, if we target the companies that have, over 10,000 employees, there's a good chance they already have lots of recruiting resources, a bunch of internal full-time recruiters. And so we as agency recruiters, we as independent recruiters are able to offer a bit less value to companies that have tons of resources. But if we're targeting a bunch of companies with 1 to 10 employees, yes, we can get a hold of the decision maker, but they might not have the budget, they might not be growing. It's really tougher. So the sweet spot, let's say for now, is 51 to 200. Let's start there. So you can see 690,000 results. I'm going to try to narrow this down to a reasonable sized list that we can actually work, right? So obviously this is way too big of a list. So let's keep narrowing it down. Let's keep filtering down. Company headquarters location, click on United States if that's where you're based. All right, looking better, 180K. Now let's look at industry. So we talked a lot about niche. Now this is where pick the niche idea that you have for now, what niche you're leaning towards, and let's type in that industry. So for example, if you want to recruit IT, let's do that. So IT services and IT consulting, just as an example, there 7.5 thousand. And you know what? I'm going to actually type in the word recruiting, and I'm going to exclude staffing and recruiting, just because I don't want to accidentally reach out to a competing agency. I want to exclude that. So with the cool thing about filters is you can include certain filters and exclude others. So it's exclude staffing and recruiting. Oh, so it doesn't move it that much. So now we got a bunch of companies, 7.5K. Now here's a really cool filter, my favorite one. My favorite filter on the accounts is here, job opportunities. Now it's saying let's only include companies that are posting a job on LinkedIn. They're actively hiring on LinkedIn. So we click on that. Now we get 2,000 companies. So just kind of, again, this is just an example. You can really get fancy, spend a lot of time adding more filters. But just for the sake of this example, you can see that we're targeting companies with headquarters in the US with an employee headcount of 51 to 200 employees in the IT services and IT consulting industry who are all hiring on LinkedIn. That's not a bad place to start, right? If you want to be in IT or if you want to get into IT recruiting. So now, once I have this saved, this search already saved, I'm gonna go ahead and click on this little icon or this little switch and then save this search. So that way, I can always come back under Save Search under Accounts. This is the exact Save Search that we just ran. Now from here, let's see. All right, from here, we actually want to now start looking at the companies we might want to target. So let me move myself over here. And so I'm taking a look. Okay, so these are all looking kind of up our alley if we're in IT recruiting. And let's just pick one here, for example, Tier 4 group. Let's take a look together. Move myself back out of the way. All right, so 78 employees based in Georgia, IT services and consulting. The main thing I'm looking for is making sure this is not a recruiting company because then, that's not a good lead. Looking pretty good. So that kind of exactly 10 million to 20 million revenue. I do a quick 2-second glance, making sure, all right, I would love to have this company as my client. Now let's find the people at these companies, at this company. So here there's a cool thing called Relationship Explorer where I can pick the persona of a C-suite, right? Like CEO, CTO, or director and above. Let's click on director and above. Because again, the director, in my opinion, is kind of like the lowest person on the totem pole that has the higher authority. It's like director, VP, C level. So this will cover anything above director. So here, you can see all the people who are director level above. A client services director, the founder and CEO, chief operating officer. That's good. If I was recruiting for ops, but I'm recruiting for IT in this example. Director of recruiting, if we don't have anyone else better to reach out to. Again, we want to avoid recruiting titles. Recruiting titles, HR titles, not the best. Let me go ahead and click See All. And so what I'm going to do now is, and what I'd like you to do is to cherry pick 3 people. Find 3 people here that you want to reach out to. You could, of course, for extra credit, add more, but 3 is a good number. So, for example, let's add the founder and CEO. You might be wondering, do I really want to be bothering the CEO? Yes, especially for a company of this size, the CEO typically is reachable. And they obviously, company growth is their main North Star. And to grow their company, they have to grow their team with the right talent. So they have lots of internal meetings about growing different departments. So when you reach out to them, of course, this is reaching to the very top. They can then direct you to say, hey, thanks for reaching out, John. If I reach out to Betsy, I'm hoping she would say, hey, thanks for reaching out, John. Would you mind, let me connect you to Robert Bouchard, who's our COO. He's in charge of this role that you happen to be talking about. I think he'll be the best person for you. The great thing about that is when I reach out to Robert, I could name drop Betsy. This is getting a little bit of a teaser to the next lesson, day 4, about messaging. But then when I message Robert, for sure, I'm going to name drop Betsy. Hey, Robert, you and I haven't spoken before, but Betsy Robinson and I had a nice conversation. Even though we just went back and forth on LinkedIn, we didn't really talk. We did have a conversation on LinkedIn. Someone say, hey, hey, Robert, I just had a nice conversation with Betsy Robinson, who asked me to reach out to you regarding this role that I saw your company's hiring for. I actually have a candidate who meets all the requirements, has this certification, this type of degree, actually works at a competing IT consulting firm in Georgia. They're just looking for new opportunities, just started their search, and I think they could be a good potential fit. Let me know if you'd like me to send you a profile or more information, Robert. Thanks. So just a little soundbite, but wanted to tease you and give you an idea of kind of what we would send to each people and why. And hopefully you can see with that type of message, it's offering value. It's letting them know I did my homework. It's letting them know that someone from your team, the CEO, directed me. So of course, like Robert's 100% gonna reply back. He just, if I say, I Betsy sent me your way, he has to reply back. So I'm gonna get a 100% response rate there. And you can see that's why we want to reach out to at least 2, 3, 4 people, at least 3 people at each company, so that we have an opportunity to at least have people point us in the right direction, bounce us to certain people, or reply back themselves. So it kind of increases our odds to have a good response. So what we're going to do now is let's start to track this, because you can see with all these people, it can be easy to start to have things slip through the cracks. So instead, we want to be super organized about which companies we want to target, which hiring managers, who of those companies are we going to reach out to. We want to then reach out to them and then also follow up. So to do this, I actually created a nifty, beefed up spreadsheet here on a Google Sheet that you guys can download, make a copy of, and use right away to begin organizing your prospects. So let me give you a quick tour of this CRM. I just called it the Recruiting Launch CRM. Keep in mind, this is something that we did a lot back when we did a lot of manual reach outs, which is where I want you guys to start. I think it's important, even if you're leveraging automation, to have the foundational skill of being able to do what we did, to be able to cherry pick companies, research them, and be able to target the exact hiring manager and do it all by hand. Because sometimes if someone refers you to a company, or you just read the news that this company just got funding and they're exactly in your wheelhouse, or you have a connection with them, there's gonna be a time and place, even if you're running automation, that you're gonna want to reach out manually and be able to do all this stuff by hand. So super important, even though you plan on doing automation in the future, to be able to have this process dialed in. So let me give you a quick tour of this CRM spreadsheet that will definitely help you get things moving along. So you can see below, there's a few different tabs. This is actually a spreadsheet where you can manage your entire business, from prospecting to your clients, your candidates, number of placements you made, and your finances, how much you're total billing. So let me actually give you a quick tour, but through all the tabs. So here, this is the main thing, prospecting. We're adding prospective clients. The color codes are purple, green, and orange. So purple is just your activity. So the time of this recording is September 24th, 2025. You can double click today's date. T is your target. How many people is your target to reach out today? Again, a lot of times when we don't have a boss over our shoulder or someone kind of cracking the whip, it's easy to do this for a couple of days, reach out to some companies, get distracted, life comes up, life happens, things come up, and then you realize, oh shoot, it's been 2 weeks since I last chipped away at this. So this is a great way to just put today's date. To target is, okay, 10 companies I want to reach out to today, or 10 people I want to reach out to, and actually how many people did I reach out to? So let's say I did 7. Okay, not bad, but not 10. So did I hit my target, yes or no? If it's no, just put no. You get a little red color here. If you hit yes, it's green. So of course, this is just a mindset thing. Again, mindset's so important. Accountability is so important. It's exactly why we have a mindset coach in our program for our members. But when you imagine, if you kind of do this for a few days, and then you do 12, and then let's say you did hit 10, and then here you did 14. Now you have another yes. You're gonna psychologically want to keep this green streak going and not have a red box in there, right? So again, it's a little small thing. It might seem silly, but super important to help you stay accountable, especially if you're doing this on your own without anybody's help. Now, here is where we want to add the research we just did. So company, right? We found a company called Tier 4 Group. Let's see if I can copy and paste from there. Tier 4 Group, contact. Now, here are the people. So let's type in Betsy Robinson. I'm copy and paste. I'll just do I'll do one person here as an example. Betsy Robinson, title. There we go. Formatting messed up. The title. The cool thing is I already preloaded all the relevant job titles you should target. In other words, if you add a contact person here, a hiring manager, and they don't have one of these job titles, they're not the right person with the hiring authority. Easy. So HR manager, I was like, I suppose if they're the best you can find, this is like the worst one. Obviously, she is the C level, or I can put founder as well. Yeah, I think she has founder CEO on there. So I'll put founder. Let's do two more. Emily Hoffman, client services director, and then I'll put director, and then let's do one more just for fun. Let's do that. Let's do this COO guy since he was in my example. Robert Bouchard. Boom. Let's add him there as well. And he is a C-level COO. If I double click here, it'll expand it and make it look pretty. Nice. Now, I do want to add their LinkedIn profile next. So what I should have done is I should add Betsy, click on Betsy's LinkedIn profile. I'll open it. I did a alt here, so it pulls up her profile. By the way, this profile, you can see it's all jumbled up. That's because it's the Sales Navigator profile. This is her profile in Sales Navigator that has all the fancy Sales Navigator features, tools. You can save them to list. You can get fancy. What I do want to do though is click on the three dots and view her personal LinkedIn profile. Cool. Now I'm on the profile. You can kind of tell it too because most people's profiles are nice and tidy. People kind of keep that nice and tidy and organized. So now I can copy that link, paste it into the profile here, and I'm good to go. Now, if I want to, I can add like careers page, right? I can add their job posting. Anyways, I want to put this all here. Now, what I typically do, the workflow I recommend is in the evening time, afternoon, evening, after lunch, sometime when your energy level is a little lower, this is the type of work you want to do. Look for companies, add them here. And the cool thing is when you add them, you can control find and make sure that, okay, tier 4, I do have them there. In case you come across them again 6 months from now, you can remember, I did reach out to them way back when. So it's a nice way to kind of track everything here. The reason why this is nice is because let's say you leave some voice messages or you get an email back or LinkedIn message back or an email back or a voice message back on the call. When they call you, you can say, hey, this is Betsy from tier 4. Is this John? I'm like, yes. Hey, Betsy, hold on for 1 second. I'm going to quickly type in tier 4, click on there and be like, that's right. Hi, Betsy. Yep. I remember you. Yeah, you were with tier 4 group in Atlanta. Thanks for giving me a call back. I appreciate it. Reason why I left you a voicemail is because I saw that, you guys are hiring, blah, blah, blah. And, and so you can kind of go from the conversation there. What you don't want to do is when you leave a voicemail for a potential client, they call you back and you're like, who are you? At which company? So this way, at the tip of your fingers, you can do a quick search and right away open up their profile. And then here, if I had the careers page and job posting, I can click on that. So imagine I'm talking to Betsy. Hey, Betsy, yep, thanks for giving me a call back. I appreciate it. I know you're with tier 4 group, and you click on the job posting. You pull it up. I did remember that I reached out to you regarding this specific job posting on LinkedIn. And you can take the conversation from there. So that's why we kind of have all these extra columns, because if you get a call back or you want to reach out, it's all at the tip of your finger, all at the tip of your fingertips here. We don't want you to be able to have to work hard to pull up data that you need. All right, now here comes the action part. The action steps here, the action you take are going to be organized in orange. So again, purple is your activity, your target, how many people you want to reach out to per day. The green is your research. What I meant earlier was when I said in the afternoon, early evening, nighttime, when you have low energy, that's the best time to just do research. Find the companies, add them here, add their profile, job postings, career page, and then just add a bunch, add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, as many as you can that evening, that afternoon, you have it all here. Cool. Once you build the list, right, step 1, block out like an hour in the afternoon, evening when you are kind of calmer, low energy, and just you have enough energy to do research, but not maybe much to do much else. You can now build the list. So evening time's great for building the list. In the morning time, I will block out half an hour to an hour in the morning before your workday begins. So don't look at your phone, don't open your work emails. Ideally, the night before when you built this list, close all your tabs, only have like LinkedIn open, and you're ready to just reach out. So then you kind of call your hour of power. Your hour of power is 1 hour in the morning. You focus on your recruiting business first before your 9 to 5 job obligations, before anyone else. This is where you have to invest in yourself, right? Super important. And in the morning, your brain's fresh. You're ready to go and just boom, boom, boom. You have the energy to start, have some coffee, you have your computer, all the tabs are closed besides LinkedIn and this tracker, the CRM, and you're ready to take action. At that point, now we want to start reaching out. So today's date, let's say I want to reach out to Betsy today. Today's date's the 24th, same date. Status here is, what did I do? Did I send a connection request? Did I send her an in-mail, which is a paid, essentially email that with Sales Navigator, you can send an in-mail, which goes out to her directly without having her to first accept my connection request. So let's say I want to send an in-mail to her because she's a CEO. I want to use one of my, limited, I think you get 25 per month on Sales Navigator that do recycle if they don't reply back. So you might want to send an in-mail and save that for high quality prospects, high quality hiring managers, other people, maybe the director, I'll send her a connection request. C-level, this other person, I'll send him a connection request to. Or let's say I found his email address. Let's say, boom, whatever, right? You see what I'm doing. You just pick the activity you did and you're going good. Now let's talk about follow-ups. I want to follow up with, let's say I reached out to all of them today, the 24th. Boom. Okay, nice. Feeling good about my activity. I just took 10 minutes, bang, bang, bang. I typed a message, reached out to Betsy. I copied and pasted that message, tweaked it a bit for Emily and for Robert. Whew, I'm feeling good. Today, I just moved the needle. I mean, at this point, literally though, you should be patting yourself on the back because you just moved the needle forward one notch in your business where so many people, the vast, vast majority of people that unfortunately I talk to who have an idea, goal, dream, an inkling to one day become their own boss in recruiting, run their own recruiting practice, be an independent recruiter. They don't do this. When I ask them, how many companies have you reached out to try to drum up some business, to try to get some conversation started? The answer is almost always zero. And again, if that's you, don't feel bad. That's most people. But because again, most working professionals, most recruiters have not been exposed, have not been tasked to do this work, right? Their job description does not include hunt for new clients, go sell yourself, sell your business to other clients. This is not the job description for most recruiters, most working professionals. So it's normal to not have reached out because you don't know exactly how to find the people, how to track. That's why we're going through this whole process. So that way you can be one of the few people, the thin layer of top performers who actually take action or reach out to companies. So again, part of the homework, part of the action items is to start building this list. And then let's build a follow-up. I want to follow up with all of them. October 8th. Let's say October 8th. The cool thing about the follow-up feature, I believe, is if the follow-up, let's say I said I was going to follow up with them on the 22nd. Ooh, there we go. It's color-coded. Which means, okay, let's say I reached out to them on September 10th and I said, all right, I want to follow up on the 22nd, and today is past the 22nd, it'll turn red. So the cool thing is when you load up your tracker, you see a bunch of red in there. That means you are behind. You're falling behind. You better go follow up with them. And if it's past the date, it doesn't turn any color. So red just pops up to let you know that, hey, you're behind schedule. Pay attention. Don't let the ball drop. I got this idea actually because within our program, we have a client success director for our, so it's funny that, this person, Emily, I think she was was she the client? Yeah, Emily was a client success or client services director. So internally with Recruiting Launch, we have a client success manager, and basically her job entirely is to track, we have a beefed up tracker with all of our clients we work with, and they're color coded. So, with our 4-month program, we can basically track week by week by week exactly where they should be. So if someone's on week 6 and they haven't signed a client yet, right? Ideally, they should be signing it by week 4. But assuming that's, let's say, past week 4, past day 30, and one of our private clients hasn't signed a full agreement yet, they haven't landed their first client, their name will turn red, right? It'll turn red so that way we know, oh shoot, this person is behind schedule. Let's pour in, let's jump on in, let's schedule a one-on-one call. Let's figure out what's going on. Why are they behind schedule, right? And also if it's by day 90 in the program and they haven't made their first placement, it turns red. Hey, you should have got your first client by day 30. You had 2 months to fill the role. We're working with you, but what's going on? Again, we can do triage. So it's a practice that we adopt in recruiting launch for our private clients that I wanted you guys to adopt as well for your own personal business development. So, and any notes here, I can say something like, I don't know, went to the same college as me. And so that way, if I talk to him, hey, Robert, yeah, I can just mention that. So I think that's it here. Also, if you happen to get their phone number, email, again, everything here is handy. So, all right, let's pause for a second. That's a lot. I kind of went through how to log your activity, how to find the companies. And again, each night you want to block out half an hour to an hour, add a few companies to your list, your hit list. And in the morning, when your brain's fresh, you're caffeinated, you're ready to go, you begin doing the reach outs, doing the connection request, sending in mails, emailing, calling them, leaving voicemails. Ideally, they pick up when you call, have a conversation, that sort of thing. And let's say things are moving along and now they offer to talk to you or you scheduled a call. Nice. So now you have scheduled a call. Of course, you want to prioritize people who are further along, and you're going to prioritize these people who now are closer to the radar on signing up and becoming a client of yours. Now, once they become your client, let's say tier 4 group, you can just copy and paste them into your client list. So here, client tier 4 group, let's say fast forward a little bit. Now you sign an agreement with them. They're your client. And let's say they give you a job order, which is like IT manager. So it's a really hot job order, top of mind, they're urgent to hire. You can type in IT manager for tier 4 group. Actually, I like this goes here. Location, San Diego, whatever. Must have requirements. I'll give you a quick tour here. Must have, which is like, let's say, teams of 8 plus, and let's say AWS cloud. Nice to have. These are requirements, right? They have to have managed a team of at least 8 people. They're familiar with AWS, the cloud technology, and nice to have is, say, based in San Diego, based in downtown San Diego. Minimum experience, let's say they want 7 years experience, 120K plus is what they're targeting for the salary, and interview process is 3 interviews with tech screen. Anyway, so this is a quick and dirty job order. So based on the job order that we take from the client, which we'll get into in future trainings here, you want to quickly fill this out, because let's say in client notes, must have a U.S. citizen or green card, no sponsorship. So yeah, let's say just for example, I want this all here handy because once I begin recruiting, I'll be calling and leaving voicemails and texting a lot of candidates to find the right IT hiring manager for my client. If a candidate calls back, hey John, it's Janice here. I think you left me a voicemail about some IT manager role in San Diego. Hi, yes, thanks for giving me a call back, Janice. Yeah, this role is with a company called Tier 4 Group. Have you heard of them before? Oh no, yeah, they're based in San Diego, and I think you'd be great. They're looking for someone that has experience managing 8 direct reports. Ideally, they know AWS. You live in downtown San Diego, which is great because that's their headquarters. They're looking for someone that has at least 7 years of experience and a salary range of about 120 and above. Does this kind of match what your profile, right? So you can just right there versus a candidate calls you back, they're on a 5-minute coffee break, they're a great candidate. You don't want to be fumbling. Wait, which company was it? Do you remember the company I said? Who are you again? And the candidate will be like, is this like your first time doing this, right? Your first rodeo? We want to have, again, you only have one chance to make a good first impression, so you want to have everything organized. Now, this is A job orders. We talked about that. Great companies, B job orders, they might be missing something. Maybe their salary's a little bit low. The role's not that urgent. The fees and discount. C job orders, you really don't even want to have this. Ideally, you can just delete this. But in case you have C clients, you can put it there. Don't spend time on it. But if you happen to come across a candidate that happens to be a B or C level candidate that you don't want to present, let's say I find somebody, let's say a C client here also wants an IT manager, but because they're a C client, right? Let's call it a C client. If I come across an IT manager that doesn't hit the marks, they're not good enough for me to present to my tier A client, I might then just present them to my tier C client because they don't hit the bar here, they don't meet the requirements. I might submit them here passively, meaning I'm not spending time on my C clients. I'm just throwing them the leftover candidates, hoping, I know that the odds are very low I'm gonna get a placement, but at least I can, if I'm already talking to a candidate, I don't have anything for them on my A or B, I'll just chuck them to my C client and just be like, all right, I'll let you know if something happens. There. Sign agreements is where you put all of your clients. So let's say you have 5 clients. You have, right, client number 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. You have 5 clients. These are the industries. These are the fees, locations, roles that they're hiring for. It's good to have just a running list of all your clients so that when you talk to a candidate for one client and they're like, oh, shoot, yeah, my resume says San Diego, but I moved to San Francisco and I bought a house, so I'm not moving. You're like, oh, shoot. Okay, you know what? Yeah, this role doesn't offer remote, but now you can look down. Oh, you know what? Client number 4 is based in San Francisco. I do have a client in San Francisco. I don't know if they need an IT manager, but can I reach back out to them? And if this client of mine is hiring an IT manager, I'll reach right back out to you. Sounds good? Great. Cool. Now you can call you're reminded that you have a client in San Francisco. You might have not talked to them in 6 months. Again, later on, this might be like 30 clients you've signed agreements with over the last year or two. So it can get kind of long. It's nice to be able to find old clients that have a fee agreement signed, because the moment they sign a fee agreement, it doesn't expire. So you can reach back out to them a year later saying, hey, I got this someone for you, send them the resume. And if they interview, hire them, then they owe you a fee. So that's why I like to keep a running list of all the companies that I have a signed agreement with. Here, once you have candidates, you can, this is more self-guided. I won't go into it because this is really more recruiting related. But anybody that you have that is, you've pre-screened them, Sandra, you can move them you submit them to the client. They're in an interview process. They're in the offer stage. Now you made a placement. These are the details of the company, job title, what stage of the interview, first, second, third interview stage, date, activity, that sort of thing, notes on the interview, their current comp, their target comp. So that way, here on the pipeline, once you have 1 or 2 clients under your belt, you're gonna be focusing a lot of your work here, just adding more and more candidates to the pipeline. Ideally, you want more people in the interview phase, some people in the submitted, some people in the pre-screen. Keep warm, bench, and you can't really use them, but you might want to keep an eye on them and just keep them on your radar. Once you've made placements, you put down your placement here. Who did you place? Which with company? Tier 4 group, IT manager. It's a $25,000 fee. They start on this date, and so my invoice is due on this date. Did I send the invoice? Yes or no? Did I ask them for a LinkedIn recommendation? Yes or no? Did I receive payment? Yes or no? So this is how you can track your payments and finances, whatever client, candidate, Janice, client tier 4, job title, IT manager, date, and the amount of money I earned from that placement fee. So that way you can say, all right, it's September now, year to date, how much did I bill the whole year? Hopefully you have a few placements and you maybe have $80,000, $90,000 you've earned that year on the side of your day job. Things are looking pretty good. Not bad for year 1. So I know this is not related to hiring managers, but I just want to give you a quick lay of the land so you can use this for your recruiting business. Again, this is not meant to last forever. It's meant to get you going. Once you have 2, 3, 4 placements, you can definitely upgrade. We have recommendations. Our clients in Recruiting Launch, we give them a software solution that kind of does most of this, but this is more than enough to get you going. So, all right, I hope that's helped. So let's see, we talked about, make sure I didn't miss anything. We talked about how to find people, right, from your LinkedIn profile using Sales Navigator. I guess this will be a quick recap for you and a reminder for me to make sure I didn't miss anything. Starting from your LinkedIn profile, we talked about going to Sales Navigator. From Sales Navigator, we're going to click on account filters, right? Accounts are people. Leads are people, accounts are companies. We want to go on account filters. We want to filter by those accounts And then once you kind of sort it out, then you want to click on job opportunities. They're hiring on LinkedIn, find a company on there. And then within those companies, find people who are the director level or above. So under relationship, just click director and above, find some people, then add those people there to your hit list, your target client list. Within each company, try to add 3 people at those companies with the job titles. They have one of these job titles that are pre-filled out. And then try to be as organized as possible and detail-oriented by adding their LinkedIn profiles, the careers page, and job postings so you can kind of quickly refer to them and hop to them. And then in the morning, the next day, carve out half an hour, whatever you can do, 10 minutes, whatever you can do. You have to make time for yourself first for your business. I guarantee you there's a good number of you watching this who have been thinking about starting their own recruiting business for like well over a year now or years. It's been an idea in the back of your head, but it's collected dust. It's kind of fallen into the someday maybe category. And now you might be dusting off that idea, taking action. If you wait until you have free time to work on your recruiting business, as you can imagine, it'll never happen. It's kind of like you have a big goal, a New Year's resolution to get in better shape. And you say, cool, when I have some free time, I'm going to go join a gym. That's a recipe for disaster, right? I mean, how many people fall off? You've been to the gyms where in January it's packed from New Year's resolution people. Then by March, they all thin out. They just don't have the habit and discipline and process to follow it day after day after day. So instead, the people that do make it to the gym, they sign up in January and they last throughout the whole year are people that say, you know what? I'm going to make time and carve out time for the gym an hour in the morning or half an hour in the morning before my work starts, no matter what. That's the first thing I do. And those people, they invest, they pour into themselves first. But as a result, they have more energy for their work, more energy for their family at night. It pays itself back. Similarly, to be successful at this, successful at running your own recruiting business, you have to carve out time for yourself first. That's why I say in the morning, your hour of power, say in this hour, in this half hour, in this 10 minutes, whatever you can spare, I'm going to focus on my business. I'm going to pour into it. So that way, every day I move the needle one notch. Every day I can get myself a little green box, pat myself on the back. And when you do, you say, you know what? That's like me. Again, it seems cliche. I literally do this. This is from my mindset coach, Andre. When you do something that you like, behavior that you want to reinforce, pat yourself on the back and say, that's like me. I'm the type of person that whatever I target, whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do it, whether or not I feel like it in that moment. So I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, whether or not I feel like it in the moment. That's a sign of a real entrepreneur. All right. And if you're not there yet, it's a muscle, right? This is like discipline's a muscle you have to build up over time. And so little stuff like this, that's why you pat yourself on the back. That's why you say, you know what, that's like me, because that's how you reinforce that behavior. Again, I'm kind of going on like a little bit of a woo tangent. I apologize. But again, so many people we worked with, over the last 5 years, helping hundreds of people. A big part of the obstacles that stopped them was not their recruiting skills, was not their sales ability, was not their intelligence, was not their people skills. It was just habits. They didn't have the right habits to succeed. And because of that, they did not succeed. So I want to make sure I set you up to win with not just tools, with not just like the technical know-how, how to apply certain filters, but also the mental and mindset foundation to have success at this. So again, you want to build your list at night, and that's why I have you do it at night. Because in that morning, in your limited time, your hour of power, you don't want to waste that morning of good energy, of fresh brain juice to build and do research. Because you don't need your biggest energy to do research. You can be like half awake and find companies to add to this list. You do that at night. But in the morning, it does take some mental calories to go and reach out to them, type a message, like what do you want to message, be creative, be personal, be yourself, give some love into this, right? And then and follow up. And when you see follow-ups, it takes energy to be like, all right, let me go follow up with this person. boom, boom, boom. It takes some energy. So you want to save that activity, reaching out, following up, phone calls, voicemails, text messages. Do that in the morning when you have energy. And then when you spend half an hour later, you can say, cool, give yourself that gold star, that green box, pat yourself on the back. That's like me. If you don't do it, don't worry. Don't beat yourself up, please. Instead, say, you know what? Needs work. That needs work. Doesn't affect you. You as a person are 100%. You as a person you're good regardless of if you're successful or not right away. So instead of saying, I'm bad, just say to yourself, you know what? That needs work. I'm gonna get it tomorrow. I'm gonna solve. Or better yet, you know what? That needs work. I'm gonna carve out half an hour tonight after dinner to knock this out. I do not want to mess up my green streak with this ugly red box. I'm gonna get this back to green by the end of the day. When everyone's asleep, the family's asleep, I'm gonna just stay up for 10 more minutes and get me that green box. So again, might seem trivial, but all this stuff adds up. It's a small micro wins that compound into big wins. When you see all the testimonials, all the case studies on my LinkedIn profile, my website, these are not from people who just did one thing, boom, and they had a huge success. When you listen to the interviews and hear their story, it's all these little micro wins, these little things that stack up, that compound over a period of time. Of course, we help. We're in there. We're supporting them. We're giving them our playbook. We're installing these systems for them, but it's them doing it consistently day by day. So again, all right, that's my spiel about that. So to recap, we went over this. I gave you a tour of all the places where you can add your clients, add your candidates, track your placements, track how much money you've made. And that's it. So I think that concludes this screen share. I know it went a bit longer than I had expected. Funny enough, right now it's 10 a.m. and I only record content between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. because that's my hour of power or my 2 hours of power. Because me recording this, I want to give my best to you guys in my content. If I try to record content like at the end of my day at 5 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I'm yawning and I'm like this, and imagine like you guys got that energy from me, that level of energy. That's not me serving you at the highest level. So I only record content in the morning. Also happens to be when my three-year-old son River's still sleeping and my wife's sleeping. But now I hear them kind of walk around, hear him, the pitter-patter upstairs. And so that tells me, okay, wrap up your content, go up there and have breakfast with your family. And of course, the distraction kind of is distracting. So I'm like, all right, now's a good time to stop. So everything, again, I share that because everything that I teach, everything that I instill, everything that my team and I install and implement are things that I practice, things that I do. I don't teach, I don't coach on anything that I don't do myself. So when I talk about that hour of power, that's exactly what I do when I record content, because my content is no good when I'm tired. But in the evening times, I'll take calls. I'll have meetings in the late afternoon, because me having a meeting, me talking to someone, me doing a coaching call is relatively low mental calories, and I can just do it. I enjoy it. It's fun. People tend to want to be more social in the afternoon. That's why we have happy hours in the afternoon. In the morning, though, that's the best time to really focus on this. All right, I hope this has helped. I'll switch back now to the other video. All right, I know we covered a lot, how to run the search on Sales Navigator, how to target the right companies, the right people, how to find them. And then I walked you through the CRM and how to input those people, track them, reach out to them, follow up. And you can use that spreadsheet as a way to kind of run your business, make few placements before you want to upgrade to maybe a more software-oriented solution. So now let's talk about your action item, your homework for today. So your action item is to find 3 companies that you want to target, add those companies to the CRM sheet, and then find 3 people at each company. So really simple, find 3 companies and then find 3 hiring managers at that company, and then add that to your CRM tracker. Now, some of you might be eager and chomping at the bit to start reaching out to them. Please hold off for now. Do not reach out to any hiring manager yet, because we have to do a couple things first before you're ready. We have to talk about, well, what are you going to send them? The messaging, which is in the next lesson. So the next lesson, day 4, is all going to be about what to say and what to send to these hiring managers in order for you to have a high chance for them to stop what they're doing, stop scrolling, read your full message, and be compelled to reply. So we'll cover that in the next video. So, all right, again, thanks for your time and attention, and see you in day 4. Bye now.